Welcome to Safeguard's 60th anniversary, a tremendous achievement for a company who has demonstrated not only innovation, but empathy for the entrepreneur. We here at Safeguard are proud of our history and our legacy, and of those who came before us. And we're thrilled to be able to share this evening with all of you in celebrating 60 years of innovation, inspiration, and entrepreneurship.
So when I think of 60 years, I obviously think of what's been accomplished in 60 years. It all started with Frank Diamond and I both left Hornblower and Weeks to form a holding company that was called Lancaster Corporation. We raised $300,000 by selling 100,000 shares of stock at $3. Our first investment was Tupelo, Mississippi, and that was brought to us by Milt Schaap, who later became governor of Pennsylvania. He was the father of cable television. He caused the system to be built. We didn't have to do anything about that. We were supplying 12 channels of television in a little community down there when Philadelphia was only getting 3. And we were charging $6.50 a month, and people loved it. That's what we ended up selling to Ralph Roberts about 5 years later. And that became the very first cable system in Comcast. Very first one. We bought control of Safeguard Check Writer, which was a small company in Lansdale. And that's how the name Safeguard came into our world. We didn't have a specific skill set. We were looking for opportunities to make successful investments, and that's why we got into cable. But we never went further in cable. That's the only investment we made in cable. And then in the early 80s, we got into Novell, and that's when the PC came out. At one point, Novell was on 70% of the desktops. That's how dominant it was. These industries evolved over that lifetime. I mean, that is the life of the personal computer, that period right in there. It's the easiest way to get growth, to be in front of a wave, capture that wave. It just rolls you right along as long as you stay up with it. We did unique things. We stayed steadfast through ups and downs, and in the end, we delivered capital gains to all the investors and the employees. Say in the year 2000, we had market values on our portfolio of companies of $100 billion. So 300,000 created 100 billion. When people came through and bought the stock on their confirmation of our enthusiasm, it just left you with this strong feeling that you owed something. You owed something back as a result of that faith. And that never left me. I just always felt I owed anything I could give the Safeguard shareholders who made it possible for me to enjoy having the success we were having with the company. I thought I owed that to all the shareholders ongoing. Safeguard's niche is to be aggressive, smart, innovative, entrepreneurial, and risk-taking. If you do all that in the right way, it deserves a reward. That reward should be good for the shareholders.
Pete's real success and Safeguard's real success in the mid-'80s was Novell. Most of those rights offerings were very successful, and the shareholders were all, amply rewarded.
We were a family. When we looked at success, we rewarded the shareholders, we rewarded the management people. Safeguard really has been metamorphic over the years, and we changed our companies in so many different ways. We manufacture automotive parts. We were environmentalists. We didn't realize that, but we were, because we were recycling used automotive products.
And then when Peter got here, Peter sort of went back to the roots, if you will, and he brought in a couple of new investment guys, and they had some real successes a couple of years ago.
I knew Peter Bonney long before he joined Safeguard, and we had worked together on a few deals, and I can tell you the day I heard he became CEO of Safeguard, I was thrilled, because those were pretty dark days for Safeguard. It could have gone either way. And I think through his focus and decisive leadership, he steered Safeguard through those times to set it up for, I think, the success that it can have going forward. But he did that throughout that period, respecting Safeguard's legacy and its DNA.
Three things I always remember from Peter, and that's people, passion, and focus. There's clearly a high degree of respect and admiration, for Safeguard.
But from what I lived at Safeguard and what I've observed lately from Safeguard, that when they agree to fund your company, they're giving you far more than the capital you need to grow your business.
Having a Safeguard out here, successful and prosperous again, is really, really important in terms of providing entrepreneurial support in the Philadelphia region.
And at least for me, and I would guess for many others, he made us better people. And I'll never forget the mentoring he did for me. I frankly can say I've really never learned more from any one person than I did from Pete during those years. He's a true visionary, but I think among his many, many strengths, his greatest strength is that he has tremendous leadership capabilities, and people want to be a part of his life.
Safeguard, to me, was like Disney World. Everyone was happy and friendly and proud to be a Safeguard employee. And so many people in the world would have loved to have been employed by Safeguard.
Mr. Musser's legacy is that he created a wonderful working environment and enriched so many people's lives by starting Safeguard 60 years ago.
I have seen Pete in extraordinarily highs, and I've seen him at depths that most ordinary human beings could not be. And his unfailing optimism is what really, to me, sets him apart and what makes him such an incredible human being. Safeguard's influence on the entrepreneurial community in Philadelphia and in the Mid-Atlantic, and probably more importantly, the venture capital community, is profound. I think most of the venture capital firms today have a tie, and in many cases a significant tie, to Safeguard. And so the impact, both in terms of the businesses they've built, like the Cambridges, the QVCs, and the Novels, but also the businesses and the and the firms that they've spun out from a private equity and a venture capital perspective, are significant.
Well, I think what we have to thank Pete for, and Safeguard, which he ran so successfully for so long, is the number of us who he supported and counseled and taught.
You have to ask yourself, how would Philadelphia be different if Pete Musser decided to start Safeguard in another city? We'd have a very different business environment here. So in a sense, we're all the legacy of Safeguard. Many of us are the children of Safeguard here, either directly through their support or indirectly through sort of the environment they helped create here the last 60 years. Entrepreneurs are always filled with doubts. And I think Pete's greatest strength was he helped the entrepreneur focus on the potential and erase the doubts. A lot of backers focus on questions like how and why, and Pete focused on why not and how soon. And he also created an ecosystem around them when that wasn't typical that gave entrepreneurs a level of support they wouldn't get anywhere else. And that helped attract the best and the brightest and created the successes that are really the ultimate, his ultimate legacy here.
I think Steve is a great choice for CEO of Safeguard. He's aggressive, he's personable, and he's smart. And I just think that's what it's going to take to win in the decades ahead.
We here at Safeguard look fondly upon our history and of those who came before us, and we look forward to helping to set the course for the future for Safeguard. 60 years is a long period of time, and Safeguard achieved this great anniversary with determination and grace. As the fourth CEO of Safeguard, I have the distinct pleasure of leading the charge for the next 60 years and setting the stage for the next level of growth and innovation and inspiration. We have a history of supporting entrepreneurs, and we're going to continue with that history. We do it with empathy and support. Safeguard is here, stronger than ever, open for business, and ready to serve.